Hey, welcome, beautiful people, or welcome back. My name is Anita, and I am here with a look back at the month of June at my currently inked, and just to see how it went. Visually, the inks weren't the most exciting palette, but I knew that, and I was cool with it. So let's get into it and talk about how it went. All right, I am going to do my best to be succinct. We know I can get a little wordy. All right, here we go. I was thinking more about the inks this month, well, in June, than I was necessarily the pens. And I've really fallen in love with Waterman Inspired Blue, and I have to thank Simona at the YouTube channel Simone for this ink, because honestly, I don't think I would have even looked at it or thought about it. I was anti-Waterman inks. I would always see Waterman Serenity Blue, I think it is, and it just looked like the most boring ink ever, and I had no interest in that. But Inspired Blue was more turquoise, and I thought it was really pretty. So I got a bottle, and I am completely obsessed with it, and I want to put it in everything, but that's not gonna happen. I think June was the closest it came to happening. So starting off with my Jinhao Centennial 100, which, if my memory serves, was a carryover from the month of May, because it just looked so pretty, and it was inked with Waterman Inspired Blue. And can I just tell you that I did write it dry, and I am behind on my journaling, so I don't know if I'm going to just see if I can just dip the pen in the ink and finish, or if I'm going to have to put some ink in the converter. But it was just so good, and visually it just made me so happy. Just the combination, oh my goodness. Oh, so great. I loved it. I still love it, but I am forcing myself to move on because I have more than 8 pens or 9 pens or whatever I've got here. I've got to give them some love to see who gets to stay and who's going to be fostered out or sent out to be adopted. Okay, next is my Visconti Mirage Mythos in the colorway Poseidon. This pen has a medium nib, as did the Jinhao, if I didn't mention it. Also inked with Waterman Inspired Blue. And I love it. I put it in because it was a new pen, and it's, I would say, since it's over $100, I would care more about how it performed. And I don't want to put something in it to muck it up. And I think that the Waterman inks are good test inks. I could also use Enero Shizuku ink, but I am obsessed with Waterman Inspired Blue. So I put it in to test it. I loved it. I left it in there. I wrote it dry, and I re-inked it. I did a partial fill so I can finish my journaling for the month of June, and it's been awesome. I love it. Love, love, love. Next pen is the Asvine V as in vac filler 126 in the colorway transparent teal. This pen has a medium nib, and it's inked with Anderillium purple, Gallinule purple. I love it. This has been great. I have been picking up Asvine pens, pick one Anita, since I guess it's been a little over a year. And I first heard about this brand maybe on Inquiring Minds or Doodlebuds channels, one of those two. And this has been, out of the box, at this price point, one of the most satisfying experiences. The pen has never done me dirty. It writes well out of the box. I have no complaints. I guess if I were going to be nitpicky, I don't know, it would probably change the price point. It would just make it more visually interesting. Like, visually, I like the way the Jinhaos look, but the nibs can be unpredictable. These are not as interesting to look at if you care about that kind of thing, but the nibs have been super predictable, so I will take that over the visuals more often than not. So it's been great, and I'm bringing that pen back in July because I just got it maybe in June, and it's just been so good. I love it. Okay, next is my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0 in the colorway Planetary Nebula. I love this pen, and it's still inked with its medium nib with Pelikan, Edelstein, Apatite. That was the ink of the year in 2022, and I love using it in this pen. I don't know when it's coming out of here. I just don't know. It works so well together. Unless I find another ink, similar color. It doesn't have to shimmer or sheen. I need nice shading, and I'm good to go, and it has to match because that's what's up. I love this pen, and it's gonna stay inked with that until I find something else similar. Slightly different, but it doesn't have to be wildly different. I love it. That's all there is to that. It's gonna be boring with that one. This is another Leonardo, the Furore in the colorway Aquapetra. This pen has a medium nib, and it is currently inked with Anderillium Banded King Shoemaker Butterfly Blue. And I like it. I don't know, to be honest, why would I lie about this? There's no need. I like the way it swatches more than I like writing with it. And I guess that can be true of a lot of inks because they're just so pretty. And it's not like it's bad. The ink is more on the dry side, but the Leonardo's a wet writer, so, you know, it balances out, and it's nothing like that. But the ink is really, really pretty, and I love the way it swatches. And I like writing with it, but it's not like it's not like Waterman Inspired Blue. I don't feel that kind of passion for it, but I like it. So, yeah, I'm going to finish this up, and am I using this next month? I don't know. I kind of made up my mind, and I already forgot what I decided. And I have a pen coming. It's supposed to have been here already, and I'm just kind of like, I need this pen to get here. I had been thinking about this pen for a long time and finally pulled the trigger on it, so look out. Anyway, this has been great. The Leonardo Furore Aquapetra, inked with Anderillium, Banded King Shoemaker Butterfly Blue. It's been a winner. Next is my Delta Duna. This is, I think it's a limited edition pen. I picked it up from Atlas Stationers. I'm not sure if they still have them available. If they do, I'll link it. It's really pretty. I was trying to get close to my, I'll call it my Grail pen for simplicity. I just like the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande and Mother of Pearl, which came out before I was really into fountain pens. I don't know if I'll ever have that pen, but I can find the resin. So anyway, this is kind of closer to it. The resin is Red Abalone by Jonathan Brooks of Carolina Pen, and it's just so pretty. When I have to say, this is a piston filler, and when I got it, I inked it with Waterman Inspired Blue, but I couldn't tell how much I put in there, and it was a while ago, and I forgot. And it just, I wrote it dry. I know I didn't fill it, but I ran out of ink. And I didn't want to put Waterman in again because that's just so easy. So I put in, and I did this maybe the third week of June, Anderillium Pompadour Cotinga Burgundy. And that color, it's more on the muted pink side of burgundy, and I like it in a swatch more than I like writing with it. So what I've been doing, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it up, but I like it for now. I have my separate vial of Waterman Inspired Blue, and I just dip in there before I start writing. Now, I dipped it really good when I first re-inked it, and I like the way it comes out. You should have seen the sample of it in the writing sample. Come on, girl. It's different. It kind of changes it. It's not that kind of burgundy color, which I'm kind of on the fence about, but it looks so good in a swatch. But it's not Waterman Inspired Blue either. It's interesting. I kind of like it. I look forward to dipping it to see what I'm going to get. So that pen will be back in July. Totally love it. It's the Delta Duna with a medium nib, and it is currently inked with Anderillium Pompadour Cotinga Burgundy, being dipped into Waterman Inspired Blue. Next is my TWSBI Eco-T in Saffron, and it is still currently inked with Robert Oster Whiskey. I love this. I think I need a bottle of whiskey. This is some good stuff. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Like, that's all I've got to say, and it writes so well. This TWSBI has a medium nib, and it's nice and wet, and it just, I have zero complaints. It's kind of like Waterman Inspired Blue, but it's just not Waterman. It's Robert Oster, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. I think I need a bottle of whiskey because that's really, really good. Next is my Majohn A1 in silver. Kind of think it's fish scales. I forget what it's called. I will link it below. Holler at me in the comments if I forget, but I'm going to do my best to remember. Anyway, it may already be linked. I don't know. I will make sure I do it. Okay. Anyway, this is currently inked with Ferris wheel press Moss Park grain. I got this ink in a swap, or maybe she just sent it from Lorelei at Handmade by Lorelei. And this pen has a fine nib. And I thought it was a little dry, this ink in here. So I add the teeny tiniest bit of ink wetter. And oh, it's just great now. I love it. I don't know if it's the novelty of the pen with the clip where it is or what. But I love writing with this. I really do. So I have a pilot capless in my future, but until that day, I am going to enjoy my Majohn. It's great. Now, this is a Mother's Day pen, and it just slid into the lineup during the course of June. Mother's Day, yeah. I forgot I had it sitting under the desk. I know it was there, and I meant to take it out, but I just never did. And it's just there in a box because it's a TWSBI. It's for the TWSBI collection. I collect TWSBIs because they're like crayons, you know, with the colors, markers. I just love that. Anyway, I forgot I had this cutie in there. So I took it out, I inked it up, and I inked it with Diamine Jacaranda. It is from the 2023 Inkvent calendar, and I love this color. I don't know why I hadn't put it in a pen. I think I just was totally caught up with Rainbow's End, which I am completely obsessed with, and I make myself not use it to give other things a try because I know I love Rainbow's End. But Jacaranda is really nice too, and it doesn't have the shimmer that I have to think about cleaning later. So yes, I very gladly put it in my TWSBI Mini in Grape, and I love it. This pen has a broad nib, and it will be back for July because I've only been enjoying it for a couple of weeks, and that's just not enough for me and my TWSBI. I filled it up. So yes, it's coming back because I filled it up on purpose. I love it. Now, let's get into what was the best writing experience. The top 3 pens. Let's go. Okay. This is hard because honestly, nothing was bad. If the things that differentiated my experiences were how I felt about the colors. And because of that, my least favorite experience was the Delta Duna when I re-inked it with the Pompadour Cotinga Burgundy. Just not crazy about writing with that shade. If I were going to put a burgundy kind of color in here again, there kind of is pink in here. You know, I have a new love in the pink family. That's not really my thing to write with, but I am obsessed with Cashmere Rose, and I have a bottle of it on the way. I would put Cashmere Rose in here. I love that color. I love it. I'm obsessed with it, and I make an effort not to use it all the time because that would be too easy. But I would put that in here if I were going to use that color, or another burgundy. Oh, two others actually. Bah Humbug from the Inkvent calendar, and oh wow, talk about a brain fart. What is that ink? I'm not even going to try. I'll just put it on the screen. It's a Pilot. Here we go. Yamabudo. A Pilot Iroshizuku ink. Yamabudo. I haven't used it in a while. I love that one too. I've purposely not used it lately because I will use it up and I'm not ready to use it up. Those, either of those. I love those. But this is, it's a little too pink for my burgundy taste. Yeah, it's a little too cool, a little too pink. I like it a little more warm and a little more saturated. So I wasn't loving that. But it was a good writer. I liked writing with it, and that's why I was dipping it in a blue ink so I could kind of balance out my feelings. Okay, that aside, wow, this is hard. This is really hard. Okay, I'm not going to pick the Momento Zero Grande because I just love it every month, and it's boring. We're not going to talk about it. It's just, I love it, and it doesn't count. So, of the other pens that I am not completely obsessed with, I would say my favorite for the month, my top three, my number one, and I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. My number one experience was the Visconti. I don't know. My expectations were, you know, it should be decent. I think I've heard good things because I wasn't thinking about it like that when I got it. It was so good. Yes, this was number one. The Visconti Mirage Mythos with its medium nib was my number one. My number two was, oh, this is hard. It was the Delta Duna until I changed the ink. Does that still count? Okay, not really. All right, we'll say it was the Jinhao 82, because both visually and its performance, I loved it because the ink matches the pen so well. I loved every minute of it. And third, I would put the Asvine V126 with purple Gallinule purple. I have no complaints about that ink. I like the way it swatched. I love the way it wrote in this pen. These were my top three pens. Yeah, these were my top three. Number one being the Visconti, number two being the Jinhao Centennial 100, and number three being the Asvine. They were all good, all hits, no real misses. Nothing felt terrible, nothing felt scratchy, nothing leaked, nothing clogged, nothing did anything. But I'm going to have a rebound month because visually, while I totally enjoyed the writing, as a whole, it wasn't satisfying visually. So it's going to be more colorful in July. So tell me what you loved the most this month. I would love to hear from you so I can find a potential new love, because you just don't know how it's going to go. Because what somebody hates may be something that, you know, you give it a shot. You're like, wow, this was really good. I don't know why it didn't work for them. You just don't know until you try. And just because a particular ink or a particular color is like really like trendy in the, I guess the sphere of social fountain pens, doesn't mean there aren't other great options out there that are not so sexy. Like Waterman ink. It's so like old school, but this color, and it's nice and lubricated. I love this ink. Not the most exciting or sexy ink on the block, but it's so good. Chef's kiss Shout out to Waterman. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I will have a currently ink coming at you, hopefully in a day or two. I've got to get it together. I am behind in life with all my things that make me happy. And yeah, I love putting together pens and inks, and I've done that, but I've got one more pen I'm trying to wait for, but I'm going to ink up what I have, and we'll just have to, I don't know, we'll just have to talk about that extra pen whenever it gets here. Thank you so much if you made it to the very end, and take care. Have a great day.